Let's see how to make terrains with the landscape add-on. It's included in Blender. If you don't have it, go to Preferences, Get Extensions, and find A&T Landscape and install it. Now Shift-A, select Landscape. We can open the properties here. You can select a preset and you can modify it to your needs. I'm gonna go with the canyon and maybe increase the resolution. We can randomize the terrain in seed. Now I'm gonna use cycles. In world, I'm going to add a sky texture, preview the render, play around with the sun rotation. Now let's open the shader editor and add a material. You can add your textures. Press Ctrl-Shift-T. I'm going to select the color, displacement, normal, and roughness maps. We need UVs. Into edit mode, press U, cube projection. In mapping, we can increase the scale to repeat the texture. We can add more details by adding a displace modifier. We can use the same displacement map that we used in the material. Now in mapping, I'm gonna use the same scale. Let's go back to modifiers, use UV. Then we need to adjust the strength, like 0.02. Now in the shader, in specular, I'm gonna use a low value, like 0.01, or you can turn it off. We can add a subdivision surface modifier. Must be above displace. We can mix two shaders, so duplicate the principal shader, then press Ctrl-0 to mix them. Now we need to create a mask to separate the shaders, so we need a geometry node, a separate XYZ, connect normal into vector and C to factor in the mix shader. Now we can use a map range, but it doesn't work because of the displacement map. So we can use a mix color, connect map range into factor, and now you can adjust the mask with the map range. Now let's add a matte node. Place it between map range and mix color. Set it to subtract. Now duplicate it. This time use divide. Play around with the values. We can also add an ambient occlusion node. Then mix the color map with the ambient occlusion. Set it to multiply. You can control it with factor, so we can add a little more shadows. If you want to use it with Eevee, then you don't need the displacement map, only the normal map. Now I want to make a mask, so I can use textures on the ground. Let me duplicate the shader again. But this time I'm gonna add grass textures. Again, Ctrl-0 to mix them. Then we can add a gradient texture, connect into factor. Then we can use a color ramp. Now I'm gonna isolate the color ramp Control Shift click just to see what I'm doing. Now select the gradient and press Ctrl T. Now in rotation, let's change to 90 degrees on the y-axis. Now in color ramp, we can flip the colors. Move the black color to the left. Now Ctrl Shift click on the mix shader, and you can play around with the colors to modify the mask. For my scene, I scattered some vegetation. I used Secret Paint. This is an add-on included in Blender. You can find it in Preferences, Get Extensions. I have a separate video where I explain how to use it. Before scatter, I recommend to turn off the modifiers for faster viewport. For the water, you can use my water shader. It's free. You can find it on my Gumroad. All you need to do is install the add-on, then import the water. You can also find a nature pack. I hope it's useful. See you next time.